Alright, g'day ladies and gentlemen, legends of the highest regard, and welcome back to the World Adventure here in Microsoft Flight Simulator, currently in the good old trusty Trinidad TB21GT. So today, we are going to be going here from Tampa. We're going to be heading up, sort of zigzagging a bit across the middle of Florida, and then ending up in Jacksonville after first completing a flyover of the oldest town in the United States of America, St. Augustine. Hey, Big Jacko with the follow over on the book face. Thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate that one. Hope you are doing fantastically. Calling Pigeon is here. G'day, Calling Pigeon as well. He says he's loading the flight plan right now. Geez, I hope I put the right flight plan in the Discord, Mr. Pigeon. Otherwise, we're going to be flying two different flight plans. Yeah, my bad if that's the case. mouth English? No, not possible, sorry. So, let's obviously start first off by saying a good day to the Patreons, which for some reason won't let me... Okay. Anyway, cool. Alright, thanks for that, Patreon. Really appreciate that. But a massive shout out to the Patreons. They are Mr. Calling Pigeon, Mr. Blackadder, Garwin, Josh Manchester, Big Jacko's Gaming, Letter Rapier 709 or Wes, Tony Barrow, and Drew Demaritis, I believe. So, thank you very much to you guys for your continued behind-the-scenes support of the channel. It does mean a lot. I'm currently in conversation with Garwin about his Patreon-only flight plan, so we're going to come up with a time that we can do that, and that's just simply because right now Mr. Sean Dale has had to take a break from the Patreon due to other costs in life, so obviously I don't want to do his Patreon-only flight plan that he set up, or the second part of it, without him able to be involved. So that one's just going to be on the back burner for a little bit. So Patreons, you can hopefully expect in the coming days or whatever to potentially be flying Garwin's Patreon flight plan. Vruden says, flight plans are for losers and so are runways. Spoken like a true helicopter pilot right there. Very nicely done there, Vruden. Very nicely done. Speaking of which, I should probably also have a look at who's with us here on the YouTubes, on the Twitch, etc. So, also, if I do sound like I am changing in volume and stuff like that, one of my ears is currently blocked, has been for a few days. We're working on getting it sorted, but I legitimately feel like I'm scuba diving at all times, so I may sound like I'm yelling, and then at other times it may sound like I'm whispering. It's just because I can't properly figure out what kind of volume I might be speaking at. So if you can hear me too loud, let me know, and if you can't hear me at all, let me know, because without you guys, I'm not actually going to know what's going on. It's going to be interesting trying to fly my plane without being able to actually hear the damn thing. That's going to be fun. But anyway, we have Chris Cheddar Bob. He's with us here today. G'day, Chris, mate. Welcome to the stream. We have Garwin. Just to segue for 2 seconds, is anyone else having really weird, stupid issues with the sim ever since that very small update? My sim would not let me spawn on the ground anywhere. It kept spawning me in the air a few nautical miles away from my actual spawn location, no matter what I did. So, yeah. Let me know if I think, like myself and Garwin, and I think Vruden as well has mentioned that we've been having a few issues, but if the rest of you are as well, just let me know, obviously, because I thought the whole point of these little tiny patches was to fix any issues that they may have created in the updates. And as far as I was concerned, the most recent update was quite good and quite stable, so I don't know why they're messing with it. But anyway, Vruden is here as well. G'day, Vruden, mate. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing very well. Fozzie has arrived as well. He says, g'day, everyone. G'day, Fozzie, mate. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing well. Vruden hovering behind me. Okay, he's in the VF-35. I was going to say, if he's hovering in his helicopter and it looks like a A330, I'm really concerned about what my sim's doing. But no, all good, he's not in his helicopter. Not a problem, Fozzie. All good. All good. You have an ear infection, do you? There you go. There you go. So Garwin, it's actually, when I went and got it checked, turns out I have eczema in my ears. Didn't even know that was a thing. But it's caused a blockage of just, you know, a combination of kitchen ingredients with dead skin. Not pleasant to think about, but not something that can just be equalized pressure-wise. It actually involves the removal of whatever's blocking. So we're just working away on that. They've given me all sorts of drops and stuff to loosen it and instructions on how to, including utilizing steam and all that, and utilizing the power of the shower and stuff like that to try and help loosen it as well. It's just going to be a big progress because obviously, like the blockage was so big the guy couldn't actually see my eardrum. So as you can imagine, it's quite hefty. Fozzie, hilarious. I don't think you count on the asking me to speak up, seeing as you're currently experiencing a similar level of hearing loss. Vrooden's like, please stop. Hey, Vrooden, people are conversating about it. I'm conversating about it with them. You're just gonna have to wear earplugs, mate, and not listen. Because, you know, unlike yourself, people are giving me advice to try and help the situation. Just because you're about to be sick doesn't mean that they should stop trying to help. Yeah, so yeah, there you go, Chris. So on Xbox, it's the best you've ever run. Interesting. There you go. Oh, Vrooden, you'll be fine, mate. Have a cup of concrete, harden up. You know, all those things that you need to do. I can imagine, Garwin. I can imagine. So, what were you said? Take very hot, wet paper towels, which I've done. Oh, I see what you mean. So like that. Well, I only need to do it on one ear. Okay. Fair enough. I'll give it a shot after the stream go, and I'll see if I'll add that to the rest of the routine of what we're already working on, and see if that helps the situation. But appreciate that, and don't worry about Vrooden and his useless stomach. Can't handle a quick bit of conversation about normal things that happen to people every day. All right. Vrooden. All right. Let's start this aircraft up. If my mouse allows me to start this aircraft up, I'd like to. Right. My mouse is stuck. There we go. Solve the problem. Wow, okay. Sim's doing really weird things since that very small update. I'm a little bit annoyed because the sim was amazing before that little patch that they just dropped. Like, I could not have asked for an any better sim than in terms of stability and the way it ran, frames wise and all that. Right, that's that. That did start? That did start. Okay. All good. Dale says, what are we doing? We're going to be flying at some point. Vruden needs liquor. There you go, Vruden, bit of liquor for you. No, Vruden figured out what we're doing. I've got no idea what we're doing. Hello, mouse. Ooh, this is going to annoy the crap out of me if the mouse just continues to be an absolute shitbag for the whole stream. Alright, I seem to have got it under control. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the parking brake off. I'm going to get a pushback from this massive tug on my little Trinidad. This is questionable. Very, very questionable. Just rip the tug to shreds with the propeller. Oh, Jesus. And I'm going to be pushing back into somebody's A320. I had to take a screenshot of that. That is insane. Oh, Star wants to get involved in the action already. Hello. Can you let me take off first? And then you can come up here and get involved if you like. Settle. Hey. Patience for another 5-10 minutes and then you can come and sit up here, alright? Good girl. Stay down there. Stay down there. Stay down there. Oh, we're gonna... I'm not gonna have a fight with you now. I'm not gonna have a play fight with you now. Just settle for a bit. Stop. Hang on a sec here, guys. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Right, we got the mad crazy doggo under control. Hey, you don't have to leave me. I just said enough for the moment, okay? There we go. Alright, so... where are we? We're at Tampa. So, active runways 19 left and 19 right. So, that's where I'm going to try and at least direct myself to anyway. Whether or not I actually make it to those runways is going to be questionable, but anyway. I'm loving this North American ground add-on. As you can see, like all my ground trucks that I've got are all labelled in the correct brands and companies that actually operate at the particular airfields in the particular locations that we're in. I think I've got it in Europe and Australia as well. It was on sale at some point, and I was just like, well, that seems like a good investment, and it was. I think it's available in the marketplace if anyone hasn't got it and they're interested in it, and I think it's only like $10 for each continent. So nice cheap flight sim add-ons, payware flight sim add-ons, which is not something you hear every day. Right, so I think I'm heading to the correct runway here. I'm at least heading in the correct direction anyway, so that's a good start, and I'll take that. I also just noticed that my virtual flight online transmitter is not connected. If you are, or if you do have it, don't forget to run your VFO online transmitter as well for these flights, because it means that everybody can keep track of it where everyone is as well. I'll turn mine on when we get to the hold short point of the runway here. Yeah, I kind of figured you might have been on runway 19 there, Garwin, so I just sort of went for it. The combination of your name tag with little nav map to her on the left hand side.
Some might call it dirty fuzzy.
Yeah, you do. Everybody wants a bit of dirty fuzzy. So how's, I must say, how's everyone's week's been? I know it's been about 5 or 6 days since I last streamed. I was going to stream yesterday, but had a day off or a Sunday off of work. But instead just utilised the day to have some lunch with the fam and just not do very much, which was pleasant actually. But now I need to spend the next day and a half catching back up, doing the food shopping, cleaning up the house, etc, etc. Garwin says long and crazy. Is that your week or is that your latest date that you went on? Long and crazy or long and easy? Alright, I am behind Garwin. And somebody is behind me, and then Vruden is floating. Because he likes to think of himself as God, hence Vruden the Great. I think we are still waiting on calling Pigeon, although he'll probably be in the TBM, so he'll probably be able to catch up to us, no worries. So, Mr. Pigeon, I'm going to taxi out onto the runway, and if you want us to wait for you, let us know. Otherwise, do the good old catch up there, mate. Alright. Here we go. Oh, decent crosswind. Yeah, okay, cool. I did see your comment, which is why I just went full throttle, but I forgot to mention the fact that I saw your comment, so probably looked like I was just going for it no matter what. I promise I'd never do you like that, bro. Sorry, that was a bit cringeworthy there, Mr. Pigeon. Just pretend that wasn't a thing that occurred. So the minimum safe altitude for this flight is 1,500 feet. In fact, if I may have accidentally not put the flight plan into Streamlabs chatbot yet, but I'm guessing it probably doesn't matter at this point because I think all of you have got the flight plan from in Discord anyway. But I will obviously edit that once we are at a cruising speed and altitude. So I'm going to probably go for like, 2,000 or 3,000 feet due to the fact that the MSA is only 1,500. The US scenery is spectacular and fantastic. And because we're going to be flying over places like Orlando and we're going to be flying over the oldest city in America, St. Augustine, and all that, I obviously want to maintain a relatively low level altitude because I want to enjoy what the scenery below has to offer. Alright, so we got that. I'll bring the flaps in now that they've got plenty of speed behind us. Bring that mouse is going to be the death of me. Are you going to let me grab the... Oh, I cannot wait to get my hands on the Turtle Beach Velocity one. Is going to make my life so much easier when it comes to flying these aircraft that utilize throttle prop and mixture. Oh, this mouse thing that this is the worst it's ever been since an update. Alright, so we're basically at our cruising altitude of 2,000. I've pulled all the various powers that be out from the motor. So now I think we're in a position to go to the outside view. That is a pretty cool view, actually. Just to the just to the west is US Route 19. Runs up the coast. It is the most deadly highway in the US for pedestrians. One person every 4 days. What makes it that dangerous, Garwin? Is it just because it's a major highway that goes through majorly populated areas where there's a lot of people, or are people just fucking stupid? Steve. Just finished up with Brett's stream. Now you can haunt this one. G'day, Casper. How you going? Was the highest insurance premium you paid in your life living there? Although, if I'm not mistaken, Garwin, because of the no income tax in Florida, insurance and all that costs a lot more, I believe. Like, it still obviously doesn't make up the cost, and obviously Florida is still incredibly cheap to live in if you've got the finances to obviously purchase there in the first place, but you know what I'm saying. Damn, the US looks good. It looks so good. Well done to Microsoft and their big maps, working with Asobo to get such good quality photogrammetry into the sim. Like, this is sensational. It legitimately looks like I am flying, and we are flying over Tampa. So the US 19 going, it's, I'm assuming from what you've said, it is just literally people being stupid, or is it just one of the worst designed highways in the US and it's just too close to populated areas? Brett Plays is here. He says, g'day, 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 Brett, mate. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing well. Speaking of which, Brett, how is Starlink going? I want to hear all about it, mate. Because if it's fantastic, guess where I'm going to be going? Hello. Make your presence known. So it's a combination of things. Yeah, okay. I guess that makes sense. Going. So it's not a combination of a highway being too close to populated areas. It's a combination of a highway being too close to, I'm assuming, retirement villages, or and then obviously too close to pubs and clubs. Starlink is awesome. It shows that your PC is your biggest weakness. Time to sell the Harley and get a new PC. Your PC can't be that much of a weakness, can it, Brett? I mean, you've got a 1080 Ti in it. I guess the big question for me, from my perspective then, is, Brett, what is the cost in getting Starlink set up, and how difficult is it to move the Starlink receiver and all the equipment that's required to set it up in the case of moving house? Yeah, not quite going, but not that far off either, mate. Like, especially if you're talking like 3090. I think they were saying they're bringing out a 3090 Ti. I don't even want to know how expensive that'll be, seeing as a 3090 is like $4,000. I can only assume it's probably going to be $5,000 or more, which is stupid for a graphics card when, you know, 6-7 years ago, spending $5,000 on a PC was what would get you the best of the best. So I should probably have the other viewpoint here, because what we're basically doing is we're traversing the sort of between the still populated areas here on the western coast of Florida with the middle part of Florida. In a moment, we're going to be making a right-hand turn at Baypo and making the 67 nautical mile journey across to Orlando. I'm very keen to see what Orlando looks like here in the sim. I can only imagine it's going to look pretty fantastic, seeing as we are in the US with all the great maps and all that. Hey, Stu is here. G'day, Stu, mate. Welcome to the stream. It's all good. I know Brett was flying along. That's going to be a thing on Monday and Tuesdays, where our streams probably overlap a little bit. it is what it is. If I don't have it drilled through the roof for the one cable, you can pick it up and walk away with it. Right, so I'm assuming it's as simple as you put a dish on the roof, you run the cable into the house, and then that cable hooks into your modem. One of the things I've noticed, especially here in Florida with housing estates, is all of them seem to be centered around small bodies of water. Obviously, these are areas that are still in development. As you can see, there's only a couple of houses below and a lot of spare land, but the roads are already there. And I'm assuming this split down the middle here is, what are they called again? Those areas where you're not allowed to build on because they usually have like gas pipelines or electricity or stuff running along them. I just can't think of the name right now. What is your mic issue again there, Garwin? I'll try to offer some sort of help. I mean, I'm not in any way an expert. Yeah, so it's just as simple as that, as it go, and they just put it on waterfront because it fetches premium dollars. Fair enough. They're just gator ponds. Wow, in Florida, it wouldn't surprise me. It has one plug point to a power bank, then two cables out, one to modem and one to dish. That's it. Huh. Yeah, an easement. Thank you very much, Bruden. Yeah, an easement. That's what I'm getting at. Awesome. Put some Crocs in there. That'll make drinking in those parts of Florida all the more interesting. Although you could, if you're into smoking, you could quite easily get just catch a gator and do some smoked gator. I couldn't think of anything more Floridian redneck than a guy in a singlet with a beer with the NASCAR on, and he's like, "Hey, you want some of my smoked gator?" If all the Americans leave the stream right now, I fully understand that. The gain just stays quiet. The only one that works is the one on your VR headset. All the others are just too quiet. The gain stays quiet. So the gain on the microphone or the gain within Windows, Garwin? You won't give me the satisfaction. I can't get no down. 2 seconds. I'm going to bring the doggo up because she is just literally attacking my feet, basically saying you need to pay attention to me. So. Are they headset mics going, or are they mics like what myself and Jacko and all that use? Get your face out of my face. Headset non-USB. The best piece of advice I can give you to try then, Garwin, is to get a proper streamer's mic. Just something from like Blue or whatever. And give that a shot. You don't need to get a big dollars one, just something like a Blue Yeti, which will be like 60 bucks. And just try that and see if it suffers from the same problem. If it does, then you know that the problem is definitely 100% within Windows, and you need to get something sorted. And if it does fix the problem, well, you've only spent 60 bucks to fix it, and you can move on the other headsets to people who may need them. So we're coming up soon here on the Green Swamp Wilderness Preserve. In fact, I reckon Garland's probably already flying over the Green Swamp Wilderness Preserve. Oh, it's still not on, Calling Pigeon. I thought I turned it on. 2 seconds, mate. Oh, you're not even at Dade City yet. Okay, fair enough, Garland. All good. Sorry about that, Mr. Pigeon. I will get that sorted now. Yeah, no, I know you're sick of spending bucks on it, Garland, but that's my only, other than obviously diving, whatever you want to, into more information about sound card drivers and motherboard drivers for the sound and all that sort of stuff for the headsets, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, that's the only real other suggestion I have, is to just try a USB streaming mic. But yes, that does involve spending a little bit more money, even though you've already spent so much money. Stu says, just a short fly, see ya, bye all, catch you later, Stu, mate. Thanks for just quickly dropping in, appreciate that. I can imagine it's probably because it's after midnight there in the UK, so all good, mate. Have a good rest. Okay, fair enough, Garland, that makes a lot of sense, mate. I would say, to help you feel like you've spent less money, I'd be happy to speak to you about potentially doing some sort of deal on one of the headsets, but I guarantee you it's probably going to cost like $455,000 to ship a headset across to Australia. And whilst I'm prepared to pay, I'm not prepared to pay a mortgage to get a headset. Because even though I don't need the microphone part, I just need a really good headset for the PC that doesn't, you know, because my gym headphones are great, but they're not comfortable for long usage periods. They're only comfortable for, you know, sort of 2 hours or so, which is what I spend at the gym. Yeah, exactly, Garland. So I'm assuming now that this is in fact, so we're now crossing into the Green Swamp Wilderness Preserve, and as you can see, it's green and swampy, which I guess makes sense. So as we make our way over to Orlando here, I might just make a quick journey to the pilot's room, and I'll be back because obviously I don't want to miss the scenery here of Orlando. And you know, maybe we can get a bit of bloom as we fly over there as well. Yeah, look, I'll admit that was really far-fetched. I'll be going now whilst you all audibly eye roll. G'day, Two Mops, mates. It is going relatively well, except for the potential tennis elbow that I need to go and get looked at, which is why I'm wearing this for the extra support right now, because it just wearing this completely removes any pain and any numbness and all that I get, so it's kind of a no-brainer. But other than that, mate, it's going well. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to the stream. Garwin says, ouch, that almost hurt. Yeah, look, that was probably one of my worst, if not my worst, ever puns on stream, Garwin. So I can fully appreciate the hurt that you were going through listening to that. How's it going? I think he's going number one. Yes, absolutely. It's just a removal of the hydration liquid. Don't bite that, it's not your toy. So there's a lot of people in this general area flying around, but I can see Cheddar Bob up in front of us. And then we have Garwin and Calling Pigeon. And we can just pretend that the rest of them are flying with us as well, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So we're about to fly over Seminole Lake, which is an airport that's just on the other side of the Green Swamp Wilderness Preserve. And obviously we'll see a lot of pipers on the ground there. Whether or not they're pied, I don't know. It always, like, I've noticed, especially here over Florida, like we have, so just to the north of us there in the Green Swamp Wilderness Preserve, we have the Rich Loam Wildlife Management Area, and then just to the south we have the Green Swamp Wildlife Management Area, and then just on the other side of Seminole Lake Airfield, which we're coming up on here, we have the Hilochi Wildlife Management Area, and basically right on the border of the Hilochi Wildlife Management Area, we have the outer suburb of Orlando called Four Corners. Now, I don't know about you, but knowing what Floridian wildlife is, gators, etc., I would, especially if I lived right on the edge of Four Corners or Champions Gate, I would be very, very, very aware of the fact that I may leave my house one day and walk directly into a gator's mouth. The Disney Magic Kingdom is ahead. Is it directly on the flight plan calling pigeon that we're flying on? As we just make our way now over Seminole Lake. And then this is the Hilochi Wildlife Management Area down here. This little sandy, watery bit of land, which just straight away says to me that it's very much probably an alligator or croc wildlife area, which is, you know, this close to metropolitan inhabitants is, well, questionable. Excuse me, that's my toe that you're biting. It is attached to me and I can feel that. I'd rather you didn't, thank you. They don't eat too many people each year. I think it might be on the flight plan calling pigeon, because I can see on little nav map, I can see the Universal Orlando Resort, I can see Williamsburg, all those things. So I'm assuming that we are guaranteed to fly over if we're flying over Universal Studios, we're probably going to be flying over the Disney Magic Kingdom as well. They did have a gator eat a kid at Disney a while back. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so so you're saying the Disney Magic Kingdom is before Universal Studios, yeah? Yeah, let me, yeah, okay, I can see now. Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, Disney Contemporary Resort, Magic Kingdom Park. Slightly further up is Aquatica and SeaWorld Orlando. And then up from there, ever so slightly, is the Universal Studios and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and all that, and then we'll be flying over Orlando International Airport as well. So this is going to be quite cool actually, because we're going to come over. Yeah, we're not far at all from Disney's Magic Kingdom. So if you aren't currently in your sim, like clicked into your sim, I recommend clicking in, as we're about to see a few cool pieces of scenery. So if I'm not mistaken, as George Costanza is up there in the TBM right now, if I'm not mistaken, Orlando is the biggest and most populated city in Florida, and also has the highest tourist numbers, obviously due to its Universal Studios and Disney Kingdom and all that. Somebody from the US, let me know if that's in fact 100% the case. Lizard Man says, last time I flew over Disney in Orlando, there wasn't much there. Why? Is it just because it was a long time ago, Lizard Man, or am I missing? Is there something I'm not aware of? Yeah, Kennedy Space Center is after Orlando International. I, however, didn't include it in the flight plan calling Pigeon, or at least in the flight plan I'm using, because we already flew over the Kennedy Space Center on the way out into the Caribbean. In hindsight, I maybe should have included it because not many people were with me for those early streams. Alright, so we're about to fly, we are currently flying over Disney's Magic Kingdom Park. Yeah. Jacksonville, the biggest by city, the area that the city takes up. Rooted, if I'm not mistaken. I was gonna say, why is my shadow like a shadow of a massive aircraft? That seems weird. Oh, this was about 6 months ago in the sim, Lizard Man. Really? And there wasn't much there. That's... yeah. I've never had an issue with scenery just not appearing. I would... is there something in the forums or something, maybe, if it's affecting certain people? Or are you just incredibly special and you receive... that bullshit and nobody else does? You met your wife in Jacksonville. Yeah, that's a pretty cool place to meet. Like I've everybody who tells me stories about Jacksonville as a location just speaks of how awesome it is. I really haven't heard a bad story about Jacksonville. Yeah, due to tourism. Yeah, I kind of assumed that would be the case. Calling Pigeon, just because of its huge number of tourist attractions. So as you can see here, off to the right hand side, we have SeaWorld and all that in Orlando. You've tried all the settings for scenery, rolling cache, etc., but right now all the scenery is blocking. The only thing I can think of, Lizard Man, is what is your internet speed? And if your internet speed is okay, what's your ping and all that like? If all of that's okay, I'm confused. Really confused. It's the first. You're the first person to ever mention something like this to me, but that usually means that there's probably thousands of other people who are currently in the sim who are experiencing similar issues. Not that you can really see it from here, but just over there in the distance is the Universal Studios in Orlando as well. Garden says, do I know the difference between a tourist and a terrorist? I mean, I do, but I'm sure this is some sort of joke, so go ahead, hit us with the punchline, and I'll decide whether or not it's worth lining up for the drink. One takes... Jesus Christ. Okay, Garwin. Garwin's just set the tone for the rest of the stream. And the... Oh, bloody hell. I shouldn't be laughing at that, but you can't help it. Yeah, you grew up in a tourist town. I can tell, Garwin. Only people who have had to deal with tourists their whole life would compare tourists and terrorists in the same sentence. Internet speed is good, 50 megabits per second. Yeah, so you got the same internet speed as I do, Lizard Man. That's just weird. Oh yeah, I mean, I guess it's worth just making sure that the sim hasn't turned off your real-world graphics data, because it does tend to shut itself off without asking or the person actually doing it. It just makes the random decisions sometimes, even though you have enough bandwidth to stream. It just decides, just like, nah. Garwin was having the same issue, and that was what was happening. Well, that's a little bit shit on the sim's behalf. The fact that it's just making decisions without prompting the user. You're gonna have to start referring to Microsoft Flight Simulator as North Korea, because it makes decisions based on what it wants and doesn't bother to prompt the user. Yes, you are incredibly spoiled there, Vruden. 1,000 or 1 gigabit per second like in Australia, about the only places right now that you can achieve 1 gigabit per second connection is in the middle of Melbourne, Sydney, or Brisbane's CBDs in high-rise, brand new apartment buildings. So places that, you know, cost $750,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment. Those are the kind of places that you can achieve those speeds in Australia. That's it. Everywhere else is still, you know, you can get 250 in quite a few new housing estates, but that's about it. You start getting bent out of shape and it's below 400. Rudin, you are incredibly spoiled. From the hospitality industry, if it's called the tourist season, why can't we shoot them? Probably because it's against the law to shoot other people calling pigeon, no matter how annoying they might be. But trust me, it's tempting sometimes. You live in Washington, D.C. with fiber optic internet. So supposedly, by about 2 years ago, Australia was meant to have fiber optic internet accessible to like 98% of the population. And I think right now about 60% of the population has access to some sort of fiber optic internet, whether it's internet to the node or to the premises or to the curb. So it's all a bunch of bullshit, basically. Michael Lister says, what server you're on and what's your in-game name? So, Michael, mate, thank you very much for the question. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing well. So I've just dropped the server information into the chat there. And then I will also pop in my name that I use within the sim. Do you know where the fastest internet in the world is? Says Garwin. It's in the 1 square block surrounding Wall Street in New York City. Correct, Garwin, because money talks and bullshit walks. But we all knew that. Oh, I've just realised that my Fly Live studio is not showing the correct information. Hang on, let me sort that out here, guys. There we go. All the apartment buildings are now full of server farms. The fastest trade wins. Yep, exactly. But in terms of which country has the fastest internet accessible to its citizens, Garwin, that would be Finland. So the average internet speed in Finland is ridiculous. Like, I think even the people in the most remote parts have access to like 200-300 megabits per second internet speeds. It's insane. I'll quickly accept that now, Dave. I like the 666. Deveo, how you going? I've accepted it, mate, so you're more than welcome to jump in with us. We've just flown over Orlando. We're heading to Jacksonville. If you want to grab the flight plan, it is in the Discord. If you need the access to the Discord, !Discord in the chat will give you the flight plan that you can grab. If you're on the Xbox, just make your way from Orlando to Jacksonville. I can bring up the VFR map for you if you want to have a look at the general way that we're flying from Orlando to Jacksonville. Well, Steve, it was meant to be. The original NBN was meant to be like that. It was meant to be every single premises would get a fiber optic connection that was capable of 1 gigabit per second speeds. But then that particular party lost the election. And the rest is history on that. There we go, we got you in the FA18 over there, Davo. Welcome to the stream. So what do we got right now? We got Calling Pigeon, we got USA PR1, we got two mobs, we got Garwin, we got Vruden, we got Davo, we got Chris, Cheddar Bob, and myself. And we've got 104 nautical miles to Jacksonville? Yeah, that sounds about right from where we are right now. So we're going to be heading to Juts, which is our next waypoint, and that is near Hawthorne. Then we're making a right-hand turn and heading over to St. Augustine, overflying that place, and then making our way into Jacksonville. Lizardman's coming in to join as well. Awesome. This will be very cool. If you need any bits and pieces or information, Lizardman, just let me know. Garland says there's so many great racetracks in Florida and you missed them all. Grumpy. I think part of the reason I may have missed them, Garland, is because I hit them on the way out to the Caribbean originally. And, of course, when I was flight planning these flight plans, I never really thought about the fact that I would have a lot more people by the time I came around to this part of the world again. And that I probably should have revisited those landmarks that I flew over with basically just myself and Zach's Gaming Lab watching. You live and you learn. When we do eventually come back into Dakota at the end of this world adventure, Garwin, maybe we might be able to make a bit of a quick back down into Florida or something to catch up on a few of those things like the Kennedy International Space Center, Daytona Raceway, etc. Yeah, you're not the only one going. A lot of people started over in the Caribbean islands. Thanks to Oz Flight Simmer, obviously. Florida is it really is quite a cool, like I must say, it's quite a cool location to fly over. I mean, yes, it's very, very flat, but it makes up for the fact that, you know, along both sides of most of the state of Florida, you've got cities all the way along, and they're right on the coast. Of course, you've got a couple of cities in the middle, like Orlando and all that, and then in the middle parts, you've got, you know, nature reserves and lakes and wildlife preserves and swamplands and all sorts of things. I can see it being very much a very recreational state, if that makes sense. People, you know, they go and they live in the cities, but they know that, you know, within an hour's drive or 2 hours drive that they can be in, you know, remote locations where they can do their fishing or they can do their camping or they can, you know, have a day out. I don't know if there's wineries or anything, stuff like that. Yeah, Brett says that's where I met you too, came fly with your crew in the multi-stream. That's exactly right. So thanks to Oz Flight Simmer and Brett Plays, most of you would have joined in the Caribbean islands. And we're going, what? That's like, what are we now? It's like 10 months ago. Although progress in the World Adventure has certainly been slow over the last 3 months. Pretty, like, to think about it, we had already completed over 100 legs of the World Adventure before the end of 2021, and we're only now just doing leg 118, and we're early March. Garland says, almost time to stop gaming for the season. The 28th of April is coming up fast. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember during your car racing season, Garland, that you do a lot of watching, but not much streaming, and especially with the fact that you're potentially about to start streaming as well, mate. I can only see yourself doing probably a lot of watching and your streams, and you probably won't have much time for anything else, which is fair. Like, the warmer months are your months to you know, get out and race cars and all that sort of cool shit. Yeah, okay, so I was saying before, does the middle part of Florida and all that have you know, like bush areas and campgrounds and all that? The answer is yes. We've got Baptist Lake Trail, we've got the Florida Trail SR19, we've got the Buck Lake Group Campground, we've got the Big Scrub Campground, we've got the Falls Prairie Recreation Area, all in what we're currently flying over. And we're what? Not that far out of Orlando. So yeah, that is why you have to stream on Tuesdays. It's the only day that you are sure that you're at home. Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense, Garland. My Tuesday streams, you know, like as you said, your Tuesday streams are probably going to be at about 7, 8 a.m. my time, so I'm not obviously going to be streaming at that time of the morning. Well, hang on, was it I that was saying that I would move mine to 7, 8 a.m. because you wanted yours to be about now? I can't remember. You'll have to remind me on that one, Garland. The Villagers, the largest black market Viagra bust in the US. Bruden says, I was worried about going to Florida for 10 days over Christmas and missing some of these streams, and then I disappeared for damn 3 months. Yes, I know, Ruden. I know. I'm such a horrible person. I'm hoping for the damn sake, and for my sake, and for your sake, and for everybody's sake. I don't know why it was the damn sake, but anyway, I guess water is wet, and this conversation's hit a wall. Anyway, I'm hoping that this month we can do a cooking on the fly. Now that I've sorted out how I'm going to run all the cabling and utilising the powered USB hub and all that sort of stuff, yeah, should be able to finally get back into that cooking on the fly, which is going to be brilliant. The whole town is a retirement community. You have to be over 55 to live in the villages. So are they the village people? And are they going to be standing out the front of their house going, YMCA? You're right, I don't care what they say about you. I think the only people that say things about me is in fact you, Ruden. So I'm alright and you don't care about what you say about me, is basically what you're telling me. Which is a contradiction in terms. I can see the shadow of an FA-18 on the ground right next to me. Yep, there we go. It's Davo and his FA-18. He's doing a fantastic job of maintaining that thing in the sky at the speed of this Trinidad. It's probably not ideal there, Dave. Don't fall out of the sky on me. It's going to be difficult to try and get a clean-up operation going out here. You probably get consumed by crocs or gators. Wow, somebody's in the SR-71 Blackbird, Mr. Slippy Fist. I'm assuming that might be Lizard Man. Told you not to bite that. Okay? That's a no. Sorry about that. Just caught Doggo biting something that she's been told multiple times that she is not to bite. The Village is the largest retirement community in the world. The Villages has more holes of golf than any other community facility in the world, with currently 693 holes. Damn. And I thought the Floridian porn industry was dead. Has a population of about 140,000 as of 2021. That's a lot of Walking Dead people. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? So we are almost up to Orange Springs. Orange Springs is not far from our next waypoint, which is Juts, and then we're going to be heading back over to the populated areas of Florida. I just wanted to check out what Central Florida had to offer, and yeah, it's very, very nice. Very flat, but very nice. And it just makes me want to actually come to Florida, especially seeing as the other half has family in Jacksonville. I reckon it'd be quite cool to come out here and have a look. I might take this opportunity to just go and say g'day to the pilot's room again. It turns out coconut water hydrates you incredibly quickly, as does green tea. So that combination has, yeah. Anyway, I won't go too much into the details of that because we've already been into the details of a few too many things in this stream that we didn't need to be. FYI, that. FYI? That's not the right way. For your information, that's not the way I wanted to construct that sentence. Anyway, don't worry about that. I'm still studying English. I'm a beginner. I'm pretty sure I'll be a beginner at English for the rest of my life. Alright, back in a moment. Alright, I'm back. They also have more golf carts than cars. All the retirees that have lost their driving privileges all run around in golf carts. Is that any safer? I mean, I know they've got a significant speed... significantly less speed available to them, but... Are we sure that's okay? Like, I feel like that's an accident waiting to happen because golf carts and brakes are not, well, they're not the best. Alright, so we're now making our right-hand turn and heading towards St. Augustine. Now, I'm going to monitor altitude as we get closer to St. Augustine here. Obviously, because it is a historic town and it is the oldest town in the United States of America, I'm obviously going to be, if I see the opportunity to get a bit lower to get a bit of a better viewpoint, I will. However, 2,000 feet is pretty low, so should get a pretty good viewpoint. It's the ones in the cars that are dangerous, so absolutely Vruden, but I'm just wondering whether or not golf carts are any safer. some of the golf carts are fancier than some cars. Well, I guess, especially for the retirees that are a little bit older with a little bit more money behind them. If they've had their ability to drive taken away from them, obviously they're going to play around with making their golf cart something awesome. It's a very interesting SR71 Blackbird there, Lizard Man, I must say. We've got a converging of various military aircraft on this Trinidad. If this was real life and I was the Trinidad pilot, right now I'd probably be legitimately shitting myself, wondering what I'd done wrong. Wow, look at the turbulence that's coming across the aircraft. We've got winds of 22 knots gusting to 27 knots at 2,000 feet here, so it's very, very windy. Where'd you grab the SR71 from, Lizard Man? Is it a payware or is it a freeware? Obviously, over the last 3 months, I have not been as involved in the world of The Sims and add-ons and all that as I would like to be and as I was for the previous 6 months. So I probably missed a lot of things. Garwin is getting pounded by the wind. Garwin, I told you shouldn't have had baked beans for breakfast, mate. We knew this was going to happen. So I'm going to, as we pass over Bostwick, I'm going to actually take control of the aircraft's heading because for some reason the flight plan that's entered into little nav map doesn't actually take us over St. Augustine, even though when I set it up originally it was meant to go over there. So obviously there's been some sort of flight plan waypoint error, which happens quite often when you make a flight plan within the sim and then try and put it in a little nav map. You just had to do it. I feel like I need to design you a logo right now that says Garwin with a tick, the Nike tick, and just had to do it. Yeah, you make the flight plan a little nav map. So up until about leg 1, oh, in fact I'll tell you. So at the moment what basically happens is I send the flight plans that I've made in the sim to Calling Pigeon, and he usually redoes them in little nav map. However, he will receive little nav map built plans after leg 156. So after leg 156, there was a point in time in South America there that I'd made some of the flight plans a little nav map, and then I went back to the sim at some point. I don't know why, I don't remember why, there would have been a reason behind it. And then after leg 156, I've gone back to little nav map. Lizard Man says, my own experiment right now, modifying aircraft performance flies in a generic model. It's still difficult to fly because of the dynamics and settings needed for proper performance. So, you're modifying an already made aircraft, like an aircraft that was designed for Microsoft Flight Simulator X or something, to then be compatible for the new sim? Is that what you're sort of getting at, Lizard Man? When we get to St. Augustine, look for the giant cross and the fort. That's why I'm going to make the slight heading-based detour using the autopilot, just to make sure that, like, because we are going to obviously cross over St. Augustine on the current flight plan. However, I want to go a little bit further south so I can come across St. Augustine directly from the bottom and go all the way across it before rejoining our flight plan. Just to make sure that we don't miss anything, because based on the scenery in the US, we should be in for a good viewpoint, hopefully. And the fact that Vrooden's telling me to keep an eye out for certain things tells me that he may have already flown over this part of the world in the sim and he knows what we're looking for. Just fly up the coast. You can't miss Jack's airport. You certainly can't. Because that airport is the Jacks of all trade. Yeah, look, that was pretty terrible. Alright, I'm going to figure out the heading that we need to achieve now. Which will be... yeah, you know what? Let's just... And if I do that, should make a right-hander. So I'm going to be aiming for St. Augustine Shores and Butler Beach. Jeez, I couldn't have nailed that any better if I tried. That is basically a direct... or maybe a little too far, but geez, that was pretty close for just guessing. Alright, so our new heading, if you guys want to adjust your headings, that we should be looking for is... Where is it? I can't see. The heading is 115 degrees. But you guys will be able to see that on the Fly Live studio. So just if you want to come to the bottom of St. Augustine and up, follow the heading in the Fly Live studio that's showing up. You sat at the bottom of that cross tripping on acid a long time ago at like 2 a.m. Vruden, you've done some interesting things in your life, haven't you? In 12 days you will have been sober for 25 years, Garland. Hard to believe it's been that long. Time just sort of sneaks up on you. It certainly does, and well done on that as well. That's a hell of an achievement. But it's good. It's really good. Like, you probably couldn't imagine your life now not sober. Yeah, there you go, Garland. That's exactly right. There you go. So well done to you there, mate. Like, I've recently had a mate of mine who's made a similar decision to what you've made. You know, no more alcohol. At all. He had a bad experience recently and he just sort of went, you know what, enough's enough. And now I think he's a month and a half without touching it. So you're, yeah. Right, so in a moment I'm going to start making our turn back to the left for St. Augustine Shores and Butler Beach. It does look like we're about to enter some smog or some mist as well. So I still hope that we've got a good viewpoint of the ground because obviously I want to see this cross. And this St. Augustine is my other half's favourite place in all of the United States that she's been to. It's the other reason I want to have a bit of a look. Because, you know, obviously not able to, well, we are now, but not financially able to travel to this part of the world right now. So at least I'll be able to get to see some of what she likes so much about it, hopefully from the air within the sim, and get a general idea anyway. It's obviously not going to be a completely 100% perfect depiction of it, but alright, so now we need to go to the left. We need to enact our Beyonce here, and we need to go to the left, to the left. Every aircraft in the vicinity to the left. Alright, so that looks pretty good so far. I'll roll with that. Maybe not. Maybe still heading a little bit too far towards the coast. Might have to come around to the left a little bit more here. The landing gear warning was in time with the music is what I was trying to say. All right. Pretty happy with how that is now. Trying to keep an eye out for this church with the cross. I'm not seeing anything, and I'm wondering if it may not just be fully 100% shown in the sim. Hey, Confused Muggle is now following over on Twitch. How you going, mate? Welcome to the stream. Where's my camera? There. How you going? Welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you are doing well. We just flown over St. Augustine and now Northeastern Florida Regional Airport. Cheddar Bob's paused at the Big Cross. Okay, so I've just missed it. That's my bad. I hope anyone who is obviously in the general vicinity, if you want to go back over to where Cheddar Bob is, you'll be able to get a good view of the famous St. Augustine Church. Otherwise, feel free to just continue up the coast with us. I'm now going to throw the autopilot back to nav mode. And we will proceed to rejoin the flight plan and make our way up to Jacksonville. So Jacksonville Airport, we're about 35 nautical miles out of Jacksonville. Currently, the active runways at Jacksonville based on the... Currently, the active runway at Jacksonville based on the wind direction is runway 14, which is the smaller runway. I say small runway, it's still nearly 7,700 feet, so it's not exactly small, but yeah. But Confused Muggle, hope you have had a fantastic weekend. I'm not exactly sure whereabouts you are in the world. I can only assume that, judging by the various timings currently happening around the globe, that you're either probably in North America, South America, or Southeast Asia and Australia, because they're about the only two places where, well, at least normal people would still be awake. But either way, g'day. I would obviously say you're more than welcome to join in with us on this flight. We only do have 30 nautical miles left to fly though, so I don't know if you want to just join in another flight at another time where you have a little bit more time to enjoy yourself. But yeah, if you weren't a confused muggle before, now after listening to me speak for the last few minutes, you're probably an incredibly confused muggle. I apologise for that. It's going to probably happen a lot more. Where's the music gone? Or is it just my hearing and I can't actually hear the music playing? Let me know, guys, if the music is still playing, because obviously, as I said at the start of the stream, the hearing is not good. Oh no, hang on, I can hear it again. All good. Never mind. I'd also like to say a massive shout out to all of the legends on YouTube who have thrown in the 11 likes. I really appreciate that, guys. I know it's going to take a bit of time to rebuild the audience at this new streaming time, so I really appreciate the pushing that YouTube algorithm to just sort of go, hey guys, look, this guy streams relatively regularly, sort of, maybe a little bit, not actually at all. Who am I kidding? Streams regularly. Yeah, sure, no worries. So I am going to go around to runway 08 and come in with the headwind, because obviously with over 20 knots of tailwind, it would not be recommended to try and land an aircraft. That's all good, Steve. There's don't worry, there's nobody watching over you and being like, and making notes. Steve forgot to press the like button. Assassination will be completed on, you know, I promise you that nobody's doing that at all. Sorry, I just need to call my assassination guy. 2 seconds. That's Steve gone. All good, all good. I promise you there's nothing to be concerned about. You fixed it? Oh, okay, there you go. Never mind. I'll just text him and just got to text somebody and tell them that the deal's off the table. Lizard Man says he cannot fly that slow. He's stalling at 200 knots. Lizard Man, I feel like the fact that you're even attempting to fly an SR-71 at 200 knots, that alone deserves like a round of applause and a congratulations on, because that would take some serious piloting skill. I mean, I'm sure Michael/Davo would 100% agree with you that flying the FA-18 is difficult enough at this sort of speed, let alone trying to get the SR-71 to do those sorts of speeds. But I must say, Davo on the Xbox has done a fantastic job. He's been ghosting the Trinidad the whole flight. That would require some serious flight controls. Oh yeah, no, I know you got the flaps out, Michael, but I'm just like, my personal experience with the FA-18 is anywhere below about 250 knots, flaps or not. If you turn or make adjustments too quickly, it tends to just fall out of the sky. Vruden, you've got competition, mate. You used to be the one who was ghosting me the whole flight in your helicopter. Yeah, wow, Jacksonville's massive. I mean, no real big buildings or skyscrapers, but like we are, you know, we've already crossed into Jacksonville, you know, all the way back there. And we've still got 15 nautical miles just to the airport, and the airport is, yeah, wow, Jacksonville's massive. Absolutely massive. Here's a question for the Americans who are familiar with this part of Florida. Is Jacksonville one of the cheaper cities to reside in? Or when I say cheaper, I mean, you know, like more accessible to the normal American? Because I know a lot of Florida is very much wealthy people and retirees and all that. Brian Schull gives the rundown on the... My current bandwidth is too low. I'm ignoring that. Bugger off. It's not too low. Look at the scenery. It's all loaded in. Stupid thing. Brian Schull gives the rundown on the sled. 300 plus on tanking, 175 over the fence on finals, 160 on the numbers. I'm assuming what you're saying there, Steve, is the numbers required for the FA-18, or is that the numbers required for the SR-71 Blackbird? Bruton says, I can get much closer to you in the F-35 than any other place, and you lived there 30 years ago, it was affordable then, don't know about now. Alright, I might have a bit of a Google of that. So I'm going to overfly Jacksonville International Airport directly here, and then I'll make my turn to line up with runway 08 off of the other side. Mainly because we're only at 2,000 feet anyway. Still don't know why it's telling me that my bandwidth is too low to stream photogrammetry. All of Jacksonville is loaded in, as far as my eyes can see, and as far as it matters. So I don't know why it's telling me that. It doesn't really make any sense. The sled Habu equals SR-71. Jeez, 175 over the fence, 160 on the numbers. That's quite slow, Steve. I'm guessing though that you would need to be full flaps, gear down, to even get close to those sorts of numbers, and that's probably why Lizard Man couldn't keep it at that sort of speeds. He would have to be in full landing configuration to even consider potentially achieving those speeds. And he's also not trying to land, so he probably doesn't want to be falling out of the sky. Preferably, anyway. GC Bound says, I'm going to try to join. Where should I join in at? So, GC Bounds, mate, I do apologise. We are literally about to overfly Jacksonville Airport here, turn around and make a landing to finish the stream. There's no flaps on a 71, really? Huh. The things you learn, I guess, the things you learn. Really need to get some scenery add on here for Jacksonville. That looks weird. What's with the colours? The bits of green with the brown. It's almost like they've layered two maps into each other. 2 versions of maps into each other. Weird. Alright, we're going to take off the AP and let's do our best to not get absolutely screwed over by the wind is what I'm trying to say, but the brain is too focused on making sure that we're dropping some speed and stuff like that. The next stream is exactly in 20-something hours time from now, GC bounds. However, there might be multiple streams tomorrow. It depends how much stuff I get done today. And other things that might occur as well. But do keep an eye out, there might be a couple of streams. Let's get that speed out. Let's get that so we can get the gear down. Oh, gear coming down. Gear is down and locked. First notch of flaps. Second notch of flaps. Looking good, looking good. The wind speed has definitely slowed down. But we've still got 10 to 15 knot gusts straight down the nose of the aircraft, so let's see here. Little bit high, but not too fast, so that's a good sign. Really getting bounced around by the wind gusts coming up the nose of the aircraft. Power before we stall. Every time the wind gust hits the front of the aircraft, we lose a significant amount of speed. Going to be very floaty coming in here over the numbers, but the good news is this plane does not need much runway to stop. I mean, I am relatively nose down, as you guys can see, and we are just not dropping altitude at all. Come on. That was one of the more questionable approaches I've done, that's for sure. Wes says, g'day mate, sorry I didn't join in this today, early voting stuff today. That's not a problem, Wes, all good, fully understand mate. I know you guys are going to the polls for your state election there in SA in about 12 days or something. yeah, very, very long on landing, which, you know, my approach speed wasn't excessive. It was just under 80 knots, which is exactly what the approach speed of the Trinidad is. There was just that not that crosswind, that headwind was just gusting and changing so often. It was making my life very difficult because I'd be flying along at almost 80 knots and then I'd get a gust and I'd drop to basically stall speed, so I'd put more power in, and then obviously the wind speed would drop, so I'd gain speed significantly faster than I expected. Yeah. Definitely not my best approach. Landing decent, but definitely not my best approach. Oh, the yoke, you gotta help what vote that day, Wes? The positives. Whoop, somebody's occupied. Oh god, they're both occupied. Aircraft just spawned in at those two gates all of a sudden. That was interesting. Yeah, what do you mean by the positives, Wes? What, people who are COVID positive who want to vote on the day? That seems like, isn't that what postal votes are for and pre-voting is for? Oh yeah, I'm going to try the cup thing as soon as this stream ends going. Thank you very much for the tip on that. So you have to help the COVID positive people vote on election day. Geez, politicians won't stop at anything to make sure they get their votes, hey? Fair enough. Is what it is, I guess. Is anybody else still up in the air? I don't think they are. I think everyone... Oh, no, sorry. I do apologise. The Lizard Man is still in the SR-71. Are you wanting to make a landing... Lizard Man, and do you want me to get the drone out? Or are you just flying around the airport in the SR-71 having some fun? Yes, landing? Okay. There we go, that's better. Help if I'd hit the right key. Huh? Did I hit the wrong... I think I hit the wrong button. Pretty sure I'm gonna miss Lizard Man's landing now. Oh no, here he is. There we go. All good. You're loading in to fly the runway 14 approach, GC bounds. Going. Alright, so we have Lizard Man and we have GC bounds on final approach here for runway 08 at Jacksonville. To everyone who has already finished up their flight and wants to get out of the stream and go do things, guys, thank you very much for jumping into the flight. It has been a pleasure, as usual, to have you guys along with the flight and the stream. I do hope you did enjoy. If you are hanging around to watch Lizard Man and GC Bounds put it down on the runway, awesome. Get ready for some, well, I'm hoping for some entertainment, but also some very decent landings. Well, he's down. He's very much down. I must say, for an aircraft that's still in progress and development there, Lizard Man, that was pretty decent. Oh, really, Michael? Game crashed as you parked? Well, look, at least it didn't crash on you in, like, final approach or something. At least you managed to get down at the airport. He must be Suzanne Vega because he's left of center. All eyes now on you, GC Bounds. No pressure, mate. No pressure. Well, GC Bounds just went to the pearly gates on that landing, obviously. And for some reason, my drone controller is vibrating as if somebody's running into my drone. So that's interesting. Hey, I mean, Lizard Man, I think you did a phenomenal job of getting that down based on the situation. Like, you could easily walk away from that. Well, now, that was different. It certainly was, Garwin. It certainly was. But, ladies and gentlemen, legends of the highest regard, that does bring us to... Why is Nassau showing up on my... at 11.75 nautical miles away? Anyway, that's interesting. That does bring us to the end of the stream. I'd like to say a massive thank you again to all the channel Patreons who do continue to help support the channel behind the scenes. God, the brain sometimes just hits a blockage and nothing wants to come out. Those people in particular are Leaded Rapier 709, Big Jackos Gaming, Tony Barrow, Calling Pigeon, Garwin Grimm, Josh Manchester, Black Adder, and Drew DeMarinis. Guys, I appreciate all the behind the scenes assistance. Garwin, you and I will continue conversation about your Patreon only flight plan and when we can sort out that stream in Discord at a later point. To the rest of you who did jump in, including the new legends, people like Michael and the confused Muggle, guys, I appreciate you guys jumping in. Hope you guys did enjoy the stream and the scenery that we saw. Obviously, we'll be back here in another 20 or so hours for another one. But until that occurs, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, you make sure that you look after yourselves, stay safe, stay well, don't do anyone that I wouldn't do, And I'll catch all of you legends in the next stream. Cheers.